Hey guys, and welcome to the Pod of War Gamescast. I'm your host, Eo Kuzma, joined this week by Master Chris McGelly.
Hello, everyone.
And of course, Xbox Live's very own CW Rankin.
Hello.
As a car or a bike flies by.
It's a bike, yeah.
This is the second time we've started this intro. I'm not doing another one. It's done. So guys, it's been a big week and a half or so in the video game world. So we will go through that. Obviously, first we've got to start with the rigmarole, which is what you've been buying, what you've been playing. Let's start with Craigo.
So, we'll start on Switch. I think last week I had bought. I think I started Mario Golf.
Yeah, you just started it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I've not finished Mario Golf. I don't know how long it took me to do the campaign. In fairness, I know people say it's like 5 hours, maybe a little bit more than that for me. It does end quite abruptly, I did find, and it does get proper bonkers at one point. Like for a lot of it, you're playing golf, and then you're like, "Oh, we're going to play speed golf now," or these other things, and then suddenly I've got a fucking flame sword or some shit, and I've got lightning, and I'm fighting against a big snowman. And I'm just
it goes very
what?
Nintendo Mario Golf near the end of the golf story.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, "What has happened here?" I mean, I quite enjoyed it. I'll be honest. I wasn't against it. It came out of nowhere, blindside. So yeah, I quite enjoyed that. It's just not that long for me. I think I picked up for like 24. It has hilariously now gone up in work to like 40 again, which is just way too much. Don't go paying £40 for anyone. But if you guys get it cheap, I'd recommend it for that. I did pick up Mario Strikers Battle League, but I haven't actually played it at all yet. Maybe because I was like, I'm going to finish golf first, because I was like, it's not that long. And then I was like, I'm going to download the demo for Fire Emblem Warriors Free Hopes. Boom! I nailed that. So I've been playing that because I used to be a big Musou stan back in like the PS2 days on Dynasty Warriors. It's probably already Dynasty Warriors 16 at that point. I don't know what they're up to now. It was the same game. They're all the same game. So I'll give this a go. I'm not that far in it. I'm literally to the point now where you've got to make a decision on what house you go to, I guess. And it does that quite early, and I'm like, I have no idea. I've never played a Fire Emblem game. I don't know what's going on. You want me to pick a house? There's one that's something to do with Leicester, and I was like, I'll probably just go for Leicester, to be honest with you. Up the England,
The Lesser Alliance with Dimitri.
That's the communists, isn't it? The Lesser Alliance?
The
yellows are the communists, because that's the the non-royals.
Why is not telling me this in the game? This is information I need.
You've got the red chick, who's the full Hitler right wing, and then you've got
Edelgard, Black Eagles. Black Eagles for life.
Blue guy is more
like the royal dude.
Yeah, kind of like Tory, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh God! I see. This is the sort of information the game needs to give me, don't it? Crikey.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you have a fourth option of not aligning with anyone?
I don't think so. Okay. Unless you've got to make different choices to what I made.
I've seen in the trailer the grey house, Asher Wolf or whatever they're called, also DLC, in it. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe there are some choices you make early, so maybe I've got to make different ones to that. So yeah, I mean, I did Google. I was like, what does this mean? And they did say that I think it's the red chick one is like the harder of the three, basically. So if you're a newbie like me, to go for one of the other two. So yeah, I'll go for one of the other two. We'll go from there. Quite enjoying the actual gameplay so far. It does throw a hell of a lot at you, quite quickly. You go from pressing, I'm like an old Musou player. You pretty much just press one button and just kill guys over and over again. You go from that to now if you press this and then maybe press this as well, and then this happens, and then this could also happen. You can also do this, and you can level up this, and then these people also level up, and these stats can go up, and you can send people here, there, here, over here, backwards, forwards. And I'm like, what button was attack again? Sorry, I'm struggling here. I'm not that fast.
But have you done the important things, like have a tea party with Dimitri?
I mean, I've killed some bandits, Pengy. I mean, I don't know how far I've got to get for that. That's something I can look forward to. At least maybe I can have a barbecue like that game you played a little while ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how much further the demo like lasts, but I'll definitely finish the demo, and then I know it carries over. So if I'm still enjoying it at that point, and who knows, this could be the next triangle strategy, where I just randomly play a demo and end up buying the game. So we'll see.
That's why they do the demos.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing you've got to give Nintendo that system like that does work really well. Having these games and having these, especially having your save carry over. Because I don't know how long this one is, but I know the Triangle Strategy one was like 4 or 5 hours. So not having to replay that is a big selling point.
I think the demo is about 3-4 hours. What I've seen, because I've followed which Fire and Light YouTube channel and goes through all the games and mainly does like Heroes, like a Let's Play of like all the routes and stuff in demo. And I think they're all like 3-4 hours long. His Let's Play, so it's a chunky demo.
Yeah, cool. So I'll definitely finish that off. And then on the Xbox, all I've played is I've now finished and got the completion for Life is Strange True Colors. Definitely the best of this sort of game that I've played. Ended up enjoying it a lot more than I thought I was going to. So, I mean, yeah, it's not that hard of a completion either. And it has a really generous chapter select. And then it even has you can skip to certain scenes within chapters, which is always good. And there's not achievements for you've got to get every ending and play through it 16 times or anything like that, which we will appreciate. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that on Game Pass if you're into that sort of thing. Definitely not for Dave because he would hate every minute of it, I'm sure. And I've not really played anything else on Xbox because there was something else that was announced for today at the shows, which we will get to, I'm sure. So I won't bother starting anything until I've played that today. That is it from me.
Lovely stuff, Craig. Well, we'll go on to Pengy. We'll end on me because I've got maybe a mini rant in me. We'll see. Pengy, what have you bought? What have you played?
Yeah, so I've not played the Fire Emblem demo because I've already got the game pre-ordered. So make my choice then. Mostly still stick with Edelgard like I did with Three Houses and stuff go that route. Thing, but I've got it digitally. I've had it pre-ordered for a while. I mentioned on here Mario Strikers, which really fun, playing the game of football, but like a Mario sports game, it is possibly lacking content. And it's not like tennis or golf, which had a story mode. This is even more bare bones than that. You have cups. There's 5 cups. Obviously, you got to do the basic cup to unlock the next cup. So, similar to Mario Kart, because that's only obviously got cups. There's 5 of them, where Mario Kart has 18 cups or whatever now. So, I've done a lot of things. So, I've done I think I've done 3 of the 5 cups at the moment. So go from through that. Game of football's good. Play a couple of online matches. Have joined a club whenever the club season starts. I think it's a week's time. I think they've given a week before the that pro club thing starts on there. Yeah, so it's a really fun game to play and that. But until it might be worth waiting till more updates, or if you're going to play online, which I plan to do. That's one of the reasons why I got it digital, so I can pop in, have a couple of games of football, pop back out. So played that. I also played some more Monster Hunter Rise because the expansion is coming out at the end of this month, and you've got to be at least done the second story, I guess, because you've got the story of the villager quest, and you got the multiplayer hub quest story, and you got to be high rank 7, where you get to the point where you can you go to high rank 8, 9, 10, up to 99 if you really want to. But I don't think there's no more story content after the 7. And that's where you got to be for some breaks. So I've done that. I think my save on Monster Hunter now is 42 hours. So obviously that's basically just doing the story as well of that game. So it's quite chunky. And now I'm ready, obviously, to play Sunbreak when that comes out at the end of the month. So that's pretty good. Then I played also on Switch. This is all Switch, obviously, at the moment. It's Behind the Frame, which was in an indie showcase. Not the most recent one, the one before that. It's got the Studio Ghibli art style, really great soundtrack. It reminds me of the game Florence, so it's very much point and click touching stuff, like you're an artist, so it's like I got to find the green color paint to paint, the field in the picture. It's very story driven experience. Dave, you would hate it. Craig would mostly play it. It was on Game Pass. It's that one, but I really enjoyed it, so I played that. And then I rented, because I didn't want to pay 65 quid for it, even though I have seen Game and Amazon already like discount it to 50 quid on Series X and PS5, and that's The Quarry. So rented that, and I've sent it back now because after I finish it. So I did like the one playthrough, and that's like my story. My Xbox said it took me like 7 hours, the Xbox time, but the in-game timer says like 11, so I'm not sure. All I can think of is when I came out of the game and went and watched like YouTube to watch like the Xbox extended showcase, the timer still went on the game, even though when I loaded it back up, quick resume came up. That's the only thing I can think of, because I think the Xbox would be more right than the game's timer, because it didn't feel like it took 11 hours. I almost finished it in like the first day. I did like 9 of the 10 chapters in like one sitting, pretty much, sort of thing, which kind of makes sorts of sense because it's very much like a filmic, game. If you played these before, because it's from Supermassive, so similar to the, Dark Picture games, and closer to Until Dawn. It is closer to that than the Dark Picture games. Is much better quality of that. You can see they've took their time. Again, that's mostly why they want to charge like 50 quid for it compared to like 20, and it's like 8 hours compared to like 4. So you can go thing, and it's closer to Until Dawn. Not as good as Until Dawn, but like just on Xbox, it is the best like Supermassive game, and just on PC and stuff like that. So played that, and like I said, sent that back. So I rented that, and I might get Horizon Forbidden West next through that instead of picking it up, sort of thing. So that's what I've been playing, and I got 2 pickups. The first one on the best system, the Vita. We have Metal Gear Solid, the HD collection, even though it's not HD because it's on a Vita. So, the Vita can't be at 1080p or whatever.
How many times do you own this now, Bengals?
I own the HD collection on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and on Vita. So you can own all 3 versions of the HD collection.
Have you actually gone back and played them at all?
No. But it's Metal Gear and it's a Vita game. Like, how can you not?
If only
crazy?
you'd supported it when it came out, eh?
Yeah.
It's a trend there, Dave, I feel.
Yeah.
And then I got a Switch game. I got AI, the Somnum Files, which is the second one, comes out the end of July, and it's pretty decent. So I picked up the first one on the Switch. It is on Xbox actually, and it is in Game Pass. It's a visual novel sort of game, but I picked it up on Switch. And even though it's a used copy, it has got the stickers and stuff in it. So you can get excited and put some stickers somewhere if you want.
How much?
That was $16.99. So, which actually cheap. Was the cheapest one on Amazon is like £41. So, because it's a Japanese game on the Switch, so it's like sort of kept its money. But game, got it in game. They're like, that's an old game, so it's $16.99 in there. So.
Hell yeah. Was that it,
Yeah.
Bengals?
Yep.
Very good. Very good. Well, as for me, obviously I'm not buying games at the minute, so no pickups for Dave. But
if you buy a game now, you can pick your own Resident Evil.
I could do so, but what I have been playing.
Play Resident Evil Director's Cut on the PlayStation 4 now.
Okay, well, you broke up as you said that whole sentence, but the viewers don't need to know. Thank you. So what I have been playing is Donkey Kong Jungle Beat on the Wii, which is a little platformer, little rhythm platformer. I've just been enjoying the backlog, getting in some games that have been sat there a while. It's about a 5-hour.
What's
platformer.
that like without the bongos?
I think it's actually pretty good because I have a feeling on the bongos version the movement is automatic.
No, I think you got to hit the one to go.
Okay, so using the stick is way easier for that, and then the motion for like hitting the attacks and stuff is fine. Like it's not intrusive. It doesn't feel too gimmicky. Like it's weird in a way because it's not really. I think if you watch gameplay, you probably think it's like a proper like level platform, but in reality, it's kind of like an arcadey game where you have like 2 levels and then a boss where you have to like get a high score, and then there's lots of different versions of that. But it's quite fun. Like again, I've just been playing simple games and it's a really enjoyable time. So my main rant at the moment is I just don't have any love for anything modern. I keep trying and I just can't do it. So I've just been going and playing old games that aren't really connected to the internet. Just playing and put the disc in, having a bit of fun. And that's probably going to be my trend going forward at the moment. I don't know. Life is just too busy at the minute. I just don't have time. Like I started Yakuza Like a Dragon, enjoyed the 2 hours I played, but I was like, I can't sit here and play my Xbox for 3 hours a night. At the moment, I just can't do it. So, same with Pokemon Arceus a couple months ago. I just for whatever reason at the minute, like modern games are just not hitting with me at all. So I don't know why, but they're just not. So yeah, it could be probably the next game I play is probably going to be a Wii game as well. So I'll announce on here when I play. But yeah, modern games, Dave is just not for. So this is the perfect time for us to talk about all the games that are coming out soon that I won't be interested in. So instead of going through every single show and talking about every single game like Chris probably wants to, what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little round table of some highlights. We don't need to know every single game that's coming out, Pengy. We'll just talk about games that
I haven't got a list of every. I just, I ranked all 21 shows.
We really need to talk about 2, don't we? Let's be honest.
Which I can tell you, NetEase was the worst.
Okay, now we know.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, we'll start with Craigo. What games did you see that excited you? What things made you smile? What are you looking forward to? Any show, doesn't matter.
I mean, I'll say one thing that didn't make me smile, Dave. I want to bury this for a second. The Keeley show, that did not make me smile.
No, it was crap.
That was bloody awful.
They kind of always are, to be honest. They get masked by the one big PlayStation trailer they usually do, but this one obviously got leaked and no one seems to care. So it's like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was long. It was boring.
It was a couple of information, but it was 2 hours too long.
Yeah, it was way too long, and they were just I mean, even their big ones. I mean, like for me, like one of the highlights of the whole thing for me was like the Callisto Protocol.
I think I've seen that like 7 different events now. I'm like, ugh.
But even then, for the Keeleys, like because they'd been shown at the PlayStation show like a week before, like that was the big hype moment for it. And then when they're like, "Oh, all right, second up in our show is the Callisto Protocol," and you're like, "Oh, it looks good again," and you've got a bit more, like you've got the extended trailer and that, but it didn't have that same kicker. But yeah, that would definitely be a highlight for me. Was Callisto Protocol? I thought it was really good.
Lots of horror space games for some reason, especially just general horror games. It seems to be the trend at the minute. Horror's on the way back, which is awful. Which is another reason for me not to play new games, to be honest. But how about you, Pengy? What was a major highlight for you?
Like I said, I watched like all the shows, and I don't think there was particularly that much that interesting of any of them really. And like I joked afterwards in like our Discord like what I'm excited for, and it's pretty much exactly the same as what was before these shows. It's like there's nothing really like changed after that. Like obviously a lot of the things I watched, like the Wholesome Direct again was was good. It was fine for what it was, and it showed a bunch of indies, which again got me sort of like more excited if I get like a Steam Deck this year. It's like, oh, I can play all these games on that, but none of them are like major standout of that that sort of thing. I think the best show was Devolver. I think they had the best show out of everyone. All that what they showed looked good. The Plucky Squire looks really good from what they showed. I think that's mostly the game of the events. That as well. It's coming sometime in 2023. Hopefully it's not too long. I could see it being like a Hollow Knight or something. Like, oh yeah, where's Plucky Squire? And it's it's been a while since we've seen it.
Nice. Well, as for me, like my first major highlight, obviously the Xbox show for me was by far the best show, by far. Like it's not even really close. It's probably Forza Horizon 5's DLC coming out because I know I will turn my Xbox on for that. Like that's a guarantee. and that's coming this year. Like, a lot of stuff shown for all the shows aren't coming this year. Like, it's cool that Persona's coming to Xbox. It's cool that Riot's on Xbox. Like, it's this kind of stuff, but it's like there wasn't really a game, I don't think, across anything that blew my ass off. I mean, I'm not interested in horror, so that already rules out Resident Evil 4, Callisto Protocol, The Last of Us. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, there was nothing. There was probably nothing so far. I mean, if Nintendo do a show in 2 weeks, that could change. But like, there's nothing from this little period, like literally nothing that I was like, "Fuck, I need to play it." But I'm not. I'm kind of like that with all games at the minute. So that's not really indicative of it. Like, we'll see. But yeah, it's a very strange. I mean, you can see why E3 cancelled itself, because there really was nothing. Like, no one had anything really. Like, yeah, it could have just been their own little like trailers. Like, again, Xbox had a lot of stuff. But it was like they could have just done that regardless of E3.
Oh yeah, I really missed.
Pengels has turned into a robot. That is a beautiful face.
I think I've got Pengels, but not Dave.
Okay, well, I've got the voices of you both. But your faces went, and Pengels, the face that it chose to freeze you on is truly terrible, and I look forward to you rewatching that. But yeah, repeat what you said.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I see. Like, people have said, "Oh, E3, if they were, if it was at E3, it would have been better." But why would it have been better? Xbox would only had what Xbox had to show. Maybe because it was proper E3, they would have, brought out Perfect Dark as something. Like, yeah, it's Perfect Dark. It's coming in 2025, but I can't really, see how they would have done anything different. Maybe Nintendo would have been this week if there was a proper, E3. That might have been like the only difference. Possibly Square or Ubisoft would have had something. But then, if Ubisoft had something, they would have surely shown something this week, like everyone else.
So I'm gonna disagree with you both here, because I thought actually, on the whole, like, the actual shows that I watched were really good. I thought State of Play from PlayStation, I know it was kind of the week before, was really good. I thought Devolvers was like fantastic the way they did it. I thought Xbox was really good. The only one I didn't enjoy, like I said, was the Key 3 show.
Nice.
And even then, I mean, it probably could have been a good show if it was just produced in a much, much better way. I thought that, I know that there's not like a lot of like big hits coming like the end of the year from like, most places. But I thought like most of what was shown was actually fairly decent, like consistently. And maybe having like the main big show just being such a downer, I think kind of maybe set the wrong pace. But yeah, I thought everything else actually was pretty positive.
I think honestly, it depends what you're looking for at the moment. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Like, for me and maybe for Chris, I think we probably live in this nostalgic, the big reveal thing that E3 does, and that these were not the shows. There was no real big reveals. It was more just games we've seen and more footage of them looking good. Like I'd say most of the Xbox stuff they showed looked fun. Like Redfall looked fun, Grounded's full story looked fun. Like, you know what I mean? All that stuff looked good. But it's I think, especially for me and Chris, like, we're used to Halo getting announced, we're used to whatever, like, and that's on us, that's not on them, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's completely on us and our like nostalgic view of E3. But yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, I don't think I watched any show and was like, apart from the Keeleys, where I was like, oh, this is terrible. I don't think I watched any, apart from that one show, I didn't watch anything that I was like, this is terrible. But I didn't watch anything that excited me at all. But that's, again, I think that's more me than the games industry, to be honest. But it's cool that everything's on Game Pass. It's cool that.
Do you guys like the fact? Because there's been a lot of I've seen a lot of like people talking about this, and it's the way that like Xbox did it, for example, where it was like, right, we're only going to show you like 12 months worth of stuff here. I know, like I said, it doesn't, meant that they didn't then have the big hits and didn't have the big reveals. But like personally, for me, I think it's more exciting to show games that I'm going to be playing sooner, as opposed to like more CGI stuff that's like, years and years away. So I guess it's what you prefer. For me, like I would prefer, if that was the industry standard, like going forward, like people only show 12 months out, that would be awesome for me. But I did see a lot of people were like, yeah, they just didn't then have those big hits.
Yeah, they didn't have that big game. Like, I think you have both though. Like, they showed 31 games ish because I'm counting like the personas as like one. They're not three. Like, you could have had like your 30. Here's your 12 months, and like. Which I guess is the big thing. But like I said, my ranking, I've got State of Play third because of Final Fantasy 16 ended it. It's like that's the big thing. That is the game that I'm interested in. For just not that one big sort of game. That could have been on the Xbox show.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I think honestly, it's just the type of gamer you are. I think the modern gamer is like Craig. Is what I call the Netflix gamer. So the game comes to a subscription, you play it, you enjoy it, you move on to the next game until the big game that you would buy on DVD, right? Or you'd go to the cinema for. So I think that's the kind of way that games have become. And you're right, like it's better to show what's actually coming because that's what's actually coming. Like it's no sort of false hope and that. But I just think it's honestly like just a where we are as people thing. Whereas like I'm completely disillusioned with that way of playing games. So I would rather see trailers for 3 games that are coming one a year for the next 3 years to get me excited for, and then if I play anything in between, that's great. But again, that's entirely me. That's not 96% of the industry anymore. Like the rest of it are people like Craig that it's like, cool, I know that in this month I'm playing this with this subscription, next month I'm playing this with this subscription, and I'm going to buy this game because it's not on a subscription. And that's the model going forward, and that's what keeps content on the machines, because that's what they are now. Like these machines aren't games consoles anymore. They are these like subscription boxes, and that's fine because that's where the industry has to go. But it's like, for me as someone who's old and has just burnt itself out with it, I think it's just, I don't know. I'd rather have seen a trailer for a game that I wasn't going to see in 3 years to end the Xbox show than Starfield. Not because Starfield looked bad at all. I think it looked pretty good. But me as like a fucking, I don't know, like trained rat for E3 is used to the like big, oh my god, did you see the game that we're not going to play for 12 years? Hell yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's just the way it is. So
yeah, I think it probably would have helped them as well if they'd maybe stated it a little bit further out. I think if maybe a week or so before they were like, we're doing the show this time, this day, and it's going to be the next 12 months, I think that would have
I think
it would have readied people.
What they should have done really is have one teaser at the very end for something that's coming 18 months. Do you know what I mean? But again, I respect them for doing it, and I get why they do it, because they get accused of not putting games out all the time. So
that's also I was going to go into, though. Obviously, they showed 12 months. You now obviously got questions like afterwards of like, where's Avowed? Where's Perfect Dark? Where's
not
Fable?
within 12 months. That's the
where's Hellblade 2 and stuff like But this is like obviously the conversation that's now, where you've announced all these games. Where are they all, to, especially Hellblade 2?
I think that's maybe something they've learned from. They made mistakes in announcing those games way too early. You think you look at,
to be honest.
Yeah, if you look at like Avowed, they announced that like 2 years ago, and we've not seen it since. Like, I think they've kind of learned from that.
You've got to remember the reason they did that E3 show was because everyone said they didn't have games, and all PlayStation does is announce games years in advance. So they copied them, and then they got a kicking for it. Then they announced just stuff they're playing for the next 12 months, and they got a kicking for it. So I think they've just decided, you know what, we're going to stick what we want to do. We have so many studios, we have so many partnerships. Let's just show what's coming out, and then it's a nice surprise when we get a date for Fable. You know what I mean? It's a nice surprise when we get a trailer for Gears 6. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. And again, like, that's going to be their model going forward. You got to remember, they've only just acquired most of these studios. Games take time, so like 23, 24 beyond, like there'll be plenty for them to show.
Yeah, you'd hope next, not E3 or whatever. Like,
well, E3 is allegedly coming back next year.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
It depends where Xbox are. So let's say they do their own thing. It's like you said, it'd be the next 12 months. So maybe you do see Hellblade then, because you'd be going from June 2023 to June 2024. So you could see that being the holiday 2023 game or something, and then that's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I think I said hopefully they stick with this, and this is like their model going forward. So that next year we get similar sort of situation. Like I said, I mean, it is crazy that they kind of announced 4 like first party games for basically the start of next year, which is already mental.
Yeah.
You think the stuff that they could have at the end of the year, like I know it's been fairly barren this year, but yeah, it's crazy that they kind of have the resources that they can just do that.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like gaming in general hasn't been, but apart from Nintendo, who just can't be stopped, there just isn't frequent game releases as much this year because you haven't had the Ubisoft gluttonous amount. You haven't had just games that you would normally get. Like you just haven't had that many games. Like so, when Xbox goes, "Oh, we're going to give you DLC for this game. We're going to give you this game on Game Pass. We're going to give you this series of games you've asked for on Game Pass. We're going to give you these weird exclusives from like Squanch Games and people like that." And like there's plenty of games like PlayStation the same. They're like, "Hey, we think God of War is going to come this year, so that's going to be the one thing we really hang our hat on. Everything else is just indies." Like Xbox is just indies, and Nintendo does their one game every month and a half that we'll all buy. Well, I say you guys will buy, and it's like that's fine. That's the way it's going. I just don't see that changing. I don't see the point of them changing. Like if they're going to do the big game, they'll just do a show for that one big game. The other publishers seem like they're not interested because it's just too risky for like Square Enix to do a show, for Ubisoft to do a show. Capcom didn't really need to do a show. They just updated stuff we already knew. Like, you know what I mean? Like
it was much better this year, the Capcom, than last year. It was much more well presented, but we didn't really.
Like the Sonic
you could
one,
have done
that was pointless. Like
that was absolutely. I had that in 18th on my list because it was that pointless.
But it's like one of these things. Like there's ways for them to get their content out now. Like they want to put their game in a show, they put it in a show. Like there was, for example, no, as far as I'm aware, any real big showing for Call of Duty. Like it was in the state of play, right?
No, you had that trailer.
Trailer beforehand.
There was a trailer like
it was on the Key3 show, wasn't it? There's quite a
they had something on there as well. Yeah,
I think it was like a 5-minute.
Must have fallen asleep for that then, because that was
yeah.
But like it's one.
I mean, it did look fairly good.
I mean, it does. It
looked like Call of Duty.
If Xbox wasn't buying them, I'd probably have pre-ordered it. But knowing that it's almost certainly going to come to Game Pass sooner rather than later, I'll just wait.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Like Diablo 4 was shown out Xbox, and it's the one game that was shown up not coming to Game Pass. But you're like, well, if the deal's gone, it's like they can't announce it because the deal's not gone through. But you think as soon as the deal goes through, that will be on Game Pass, and it's like such a weird one.
I thought it was one of the better games shown there on the Xbox presentation.
Yeah, actually did look pretty decent.
And as someone who's like me who'd never played a Diablo game.
Games are pretty good, to be honest with you. Like 2 and 3 on the Xbox series right now are very good games. So, same with Overwatch and stuff like that, right? So, but again, that's maybe one of the other things. And I don't know if it's a bigger question. Like, is it for people like me, less so Chris, but maybe Chris? Like, is it boring that you just can't buy games anymore? Everything is just a fucking subscription. So you're just like,
I don't know, because obviously I thought let's say the Vita game is retro, so the retro game and current system. Like I am buying plenty on my Switch, but it's basically only Switch games I'm buying. Yeah. Like the Quarry, for instance, I could have bought that, but decided to rent it because of the cost involved of that game. But yeah, apart from Switch, I don't really plan to buy any Xbox or PlayStation games. Maybe God of War I'll buy if that does come this year, but that's the only one I can really think of. Like Stray, I'm excited for Stray, which was at the State of Play. That much we can do. It's going to be in the new PlayStation service. I'm just going to subscribe for a month.
Yeah.
Play, stay, and then see what else is like. Ooh, it's got Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil, like PS1 game, like now in 4K, and I don't know if it's got trophies and that. I'm like, okay, I got a month's subscription. Let's see what else is in the service for that month, and then cancel. Or they'll be like, here's another PlayStation State. But oh yeah, coming next month is, I'm trying to think, something that's coming out in August that's only on PlayStation is on that service. It's like, oh yeah, I'll keep it, but sort of thing.
I do think we're probably like one of the few places that's basically like kind of complaining that we have to spend less on games, though. That's kind of the context of it all, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a complaint really. It's hard to explain. Like it's like I understand the value. Like I'm not questioning that at all. But I think it's not even the paying of the game. I think it's when if you've got a bottomless jar of sweets, like they're just not as tasty as that one sweet you get every now and then, and that is again 100% a me thing and maybe a Chris thing. Like it's not...
I guess if you even look at like you said, like Netflix and that, I feel like I haven't got Netflix at the moment, and sort of thing. I doubt I'm gonna get it again because
It's
you guys
more
were talking
expensive than Game
earlier.
Pass.
It's more expensive. Like if I go on there, like how much content is on that? And it's like I got go through all this stuff like that
Yeah,
where you're
it's
saying,
such
oh
a
my,
first world problem. Like
where you can go
I'm not
that
like...
one choice. Oh, I'm gonna watch the new
Yeah.
fourth Love and Thunder film because that's what I want to watch. I'll pay my 11 quid or whatever, go see it in the cinema. So yeah, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And like it's a weird like comparison. It's like that sort of thing. Here's this one big game I'm gonna go buy, and here's these lots of a lot almost smaller experiences. But you're trying to compare it to Netflix. It's like it's all this stuff. I'm like it's all the stuff.
Yeah.
What do I watch?
It's overwhelming.
It's all the
Like,
Game Pass games. What do I play?
yeah,
There's so many.
I think I agree with you on that point for sure. And again, I think it's definitely a me problem in terms of like I'm in my 30s. Like I've been playing games since 1993. Like I'm just used to a certain way of playing. I'm kind of done. Like I just don't have the time and the energy to download a game and pick a game from a list is so unappealing to going on a shelf and picking it off. And that's
that's the thing. Like with all the like Switch games. Oh, here comes Fire Emblem game I bought. That's what I'm gonna play because that's what I've just
bought it, so you feel like you have to play it. Like that's kind of what I mean. I'm not saying I don't want it to seem like I'm complaining that they're giving me the best deal in gaming because they are.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely not questioning that. Like it is like it's objectively better. Like that's what I'm saying. But like non-objectively, subjectively, I don't enjoy it as much. Like I'd much rather play a Wii game from 2006 that I haven't played that's on my shelf because it's physically here. I'm putting, you know what I mean? Like, and again, I think I'm just burnt out, boys. I think that's probably what it is.
But even like you, Craig, for instance, you've been playing a lot of Switch and you're playing the games that you've bought for your Switch. Even though there's been things like Trek to Yomi, I know you actually have played that, but there has been stuff still come to Game Pass. Like you can play Chorus or something, which I really liked on PS5, and so I mean that's now on Game Pass, and it's like
yeah. I mean, I have a little while. I've nearly caught up on my Game Pass backlog. To be fair,
nice.
I got like lost in the random.
Yeah, that actually does look good. I have got that installed.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I did have a little one at one point, but I mean, for me, like the Switch time and the Xbox time is like so different because like Switch is like something I'll play like in bed. Whereas if I actually want to sit down and go, I'll play the Xbox. So, yeah, I mean, we've got what like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like today, and then like next there's like 2 on the same day next month, and there's
what is going on with this?
David's frozen for me.
No, he's back.
I don't know what's going on with this internet. You guys just turn to robots. Like, I apologize, viewers, because I've had an updated internet, so I don't know why it's doing this.
Yes.
But,
They want more money, Dave.
Apparently so.
Need them more money.
So, well, before we continue to ramble and before the internet gets too bad, we'll end that part. We'll end that discussion here, boys. So, overall, I think it's been an okay week. If you've got Game Pass in particular, I think it's been a very, very good week. I think that's fair to say. And if you like horror games, it's been a very, very good week. But if you're like Dave, then not.
I think it's been a great week. Obviously, I watched every show. 4 indies, a lot of great indies. Most of them are coming. Literally, you watch a show and like, is this coming to Xbox? Is this coming to PlayStation? Is this coming to Switch? Who knows? But they're all coming to PCs. So it's just got me more excited for a Steam Deck. That's like all this is actually done.
From Pengy. I can't wait for him to buy a Steam Deck and play it twice. It's going to be great. It's going
to be just give it like the gaming laptop all over again.
So it's got me more excited for a Steam Deck than it has like anything like else. So like I can play all these indies on there. So
we look forward to the Steam Deck review in October, November, Pengy.
Yeah, sure.
But no, I agree with Pengy with the positivity from Pengy. You know,
positive Pengy is what
he believes. yeah. I thought it was a decent week. Again, like I would love it if they could just like, agree to like there's only 10 shows or something like that. Because that's when you say 21 shows, maybe it's just
And I
like,
bundled two
farcical.
together. Obviously bundled the two Xbox together, and I bundled the two Gorilla Collective together and stuff. And I didn't include the Japanese Sega one as well. So you could have gone for like 23, 24 to like shows if you really wanted to.
Yeah, so maybe that's like the next year when E3 comes back in all its glory. You know, that maybe we can organise not 16 million shows, and Penguins has to watch all of them.
I think you'll watch
Yeah.
them all anyway. Don't worry.
Yeah, I will watch them all. Like I can tell you, like I watched the Tribeca Games one, and it was really good. It's my fourth favorite show. I felt really bad for them afterwards because everything they showed was everywhere else. In the end, apart from like Oxenfree 2, I was like, oh, poor Tribeca. They showed all these cool games. Their show was really good, and then everyone else took the limelight from them.
Nice silver jet out there, donut.
Yeah,
it happens. It happens.
Mm.
Well, if you watched the Not E3, please let us know in the comments what your highlights and lowlights were. And am I just a miserable old bastard? Let us know. Well, thank you for joining me, boys. We will be back at some point. I don't know when because I just keep flying.
You didn't go through
world.
predictions, Dave.
Oh,
but you only you got 1 point.
Okay, well, who won? That's all we care about.
That was me with my 2
So
points.
that's why you brought it up. Okay, fair enough. Well, Chris won this
with
year.
my Ninja Turtles and my System Shock at the PC Gaming Show. So
And next year,
Craig also got 1 point for his Josh Sawyer game.
Well done, Craig.
So
Yeah, I mean, I think we were probably all way too ambitious. I think
Wildly
it's just
too
generally,
optimistic,
yeah, for the general looking at our predictions. But I think everywhere it's the same position.
Yeah,
when everyone's
Yeah.
doing stuff that just. Yeah, I think Keeley came out like the day before, didn't he, of his show and was like, yeah, we're actually probably not going to be any like big announcements. It's going to be more stuff you've already seen. So again, if we had known that like a few weeks beforehand, maybe we could manage that better.
You had to leave it to those so people would watch the show. That's why.
Exactly.
Yeah, and obviously they had it on IMAX and stuff in the States, so people pay for
to go and watch an E3 show in a cinema.
Yeah. Like, I should have, like, worded mine better, because I put Forza Motorsport announced for this year, when obviously it's next year, and I should have put Forza Motorsport shown and dated or something, and then...
we would not have allowed that thing. Not for a game that's already been, like...
Yeah.
Announced.
Cheat all you want, but you've won anyway, so you don't need to cheat as much as you usually do.
With my whole 2 points.
And we'll see how that goes next year. Well, thank you everyone for watching. We will see you at some point. Again, I don't know when, because I'm jetting off around the world pretty much constantly for 2 weeks. So unless the boys want to do a show without me, who knows? But yes, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.